Okay, today we are playing a game on Route 66. We are in the 2300 SR range, and we will be playing roughly a quarter of the game as Soldier before changing to Winston for the rest of the game. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, D.Va, Junkrat, Soldier, Mercy, and Lucio. So, we have a Junkrat, and we're disappointed about that as always, especially on Route 66, where the attacking team tends to have a Pharah and a flanker on it. And the other team is also quite likely to currently have a Winston or a D.Va. So Junkrat's generally going to struggle a little bit in a lot of situations currently. So we'd rather have a lot of other things. I'd rather have a Reaper or a Doomfist. You couldn't pick Doomfist at this point in time, but I would rather have either of those things. Or McCree. Or Mei. Or most heroes, really, to be honest with you. But it's what we have, so it's just sort of what we have to deal with. So we're going to start the game. We're defending right now. As we can see, we're standing where we don't want to be standing right at the start of the game. However, our team decided that we were going to come and stand up here, so we have to come and stand up here with them. Because Overwatch is that kind of game. We'd all love to just leave our team to die and do our own thing, but we can't do that. Maybe when Blizzard gives in and gives us Team Deathmatch outside of the arcade, which would be fantastic, but no, you know, it's not to be, at least for now. So this is slightly too loud. So, we've got to stand up here. So we've seen, like, Pharah rockets come out of there, so then we can see Pharah now. We should be shooting at the Pharah already, because Pharah is, you know, it's our thing. Soldier is generally going to struggle to actually kill the Pharah, but we do have to try and attack the Pharah. I'm trying to pause so we can see Pharah. She's over here. This little mess of pixels over here, this is the Pharah, take my word for it. So we should be shooting at her already. We also briefly saw a Widowmaker, which is scary. And we are, in fact, about to definitely realize they have a Widowmaker. Reinhardt currently performing an illegal maneuver and is charged off into the enemy team. He's now fucking dead, as you would expect. They also have a Roadhog, which is very sad for them, but I mean, you know, it's what they have. So, basically we die here because we're standing where we don't want to be standing, and it's very easy to get killed over there. We do have to stand up there with our team initially, because, I mean, they're standing up there, so we have to stand with them. But as soon as the enemy team starts to actually, like, get close to you, you can just retreat back and stand on top of the gas station, as you would normally like to do. It's a little bit different to, say, Dorado, where if our team is in the street, we can stay up on the high ground. Route 66, you kinda have to come and stand up at the bend with them, but as soon as they start getting, like, dangerously close, you just leave and stand on the high ground so that you don't get murdered. Because generally that's best avoided. So, there's Pharah. Anna's already got her ultimate, and she's just boosted D.Va, which is kinda spooky. We are standing perfectly still for a little bit while we're shooting at the D.Va. Don't do that. Not shooting at the D.Va, shooting at the Pharah. You know what I mean. You saw who we were shooting at. So, Zenyatta's doing that over there, even though the whole fight's kinda already happened at this point. So we do know they have a, Widowmaker, but then she just sort of pops out in front of us and kills us very quickly. We don't need to be jumping off of the high ground, though. We don't need to be doing that, so don't do that. We're standing up on the gas station. We're standing where we want to be standing. Don't have to come down here. We probably get shot by Widowmaker regardless, but we don't want to jump off the high ground. We can just stand up on the gas station using the sign as cover. We do have... Widow's just used her ultimate as well, which is kind of spooky, so we do have to be careful about when we poke our face out for the next few seconds. Pro tip, if you have trouble keeping track in your mind of how long an ult's channel lasts, you can just use the timer up here. Widow's ult lasts 8 seconds, High Noon channels for 6 seconds. So as soon as you hear the voice lines, you can look up here and just use this as an indicator for long-lasting ultimates. Torbjorn's is 12 seconds, so you can just, like, look up here and use that as the timer. This is important for ultimates like Widowmakers and Torbjorn's that don't have an obvious effect that they have ended, since you're usually hiding out of cover when they're happening. So, our whole team is fucking dead right now. Well, Junkrat and Mercy are dead, and D.Va's out of mech, which is basically her being dead. She is now also dead. We are now also dead. We shouldn't have been still going in when we saw 3 people slide by in the kill feed, dead, really. And then we just get killed as well. Team chat is muted, okay. Isn't that, like, you got chat restricted? You've been e-bullying people? So, I do, so it's fine. So we're back out here now with half our team, because the other half of the team is still coming back. Junkrat's fucking dead, and so's his tire, because, I mean, what's he gonna do, really? We've jumped down off the high ground again, and I'm not really sure why exactly. Were we being super threatened? Probably because Widowmaker's shooting at us. We got a Roadhog up here, which is, of course, kind of spooky. Yeah, we're getting pretty pressured. I'll give you that one. Not that being down here is necessarily going to be much better, seeing as our team is largely dead. Really, you want to just try and, like, get out. Because we've already lost our other DPS. Things are not looking good right now. Mercy just died and Diva's out of mech. Rather than running into the gas station, you're probably better off trying to run through the mines to get further back and just, like, get ready at the next checkpoint. Because this checkpoint's, we're not going to have it for too much longer, I don't think. Just a hunch. So, we've got our ult built up now, which is cool, especially since they have a, Pharah. Grimdalf over here has changed off of Junkrat, finally, to Genji, but he has been killed by Roadhog. Roadhog hooking him. Which is very sad. Widow's using her ultimate right now. So that's very scary, and whole enemy team can see us. It's not even scary because Widow can see us. It's scary because the whole team can see us. You see that hook right there? That's a spooky one, right? Ooh, right next to you. Yeah, we're fucked. The whole enemy team has seen us through the infrasight, so they're just kinda trying to kill us. But just even trying to run back is scary because we're gonna get shot as soon as we come out of cover. So by the time you're probably just gonna die regardless of what you do in that situation, unfortunately. Which is not something anyone ever really wants to hear. But, you know. So Diva's up in our face. This is a very hard game to play Soldier in because the enemy team is very aggressive. And our team is really struggling to actually regroup and get very much done. So we're just getting pressured even more because we're coming out into uneven fights and then they're just sort of killing us. So we have now changed to Winston and we've dropped Tac Visor to do this. We honestly weren't looking like we were going to get much done with Tac Visor anyway, the way things have been going so far, so Widow's got Infrasight again. She has used that like 3 times in the last like minute and a half, which is very sad. So we just wait back here. Kinda looks like we might have been doing something around the computer, I don't know, but that checkpoint was gone regardless, so we might as well just wait for this checkpoint. Don't know why we're doing this maneuver, like, I mean, we're doing it because we see our team doing it, but this is not okay for us to do, and we just kind of get fucked as soon as we arrive, because it's, yeah, you know, it's not really a good idea. So we're on the 3rd checkpoint now, which is honestly where I find most games on Route 66 are decided anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Pharah is also significantly less good on this particular checkpoint because it's fairly confined, which she doesn't really like. I mean, the whole area is indoors. You know, Pharah doesn't like fighting indoors. So, Lucio has dropped the beat. We didn't get it. I don't think very many people did. We are now tasing the Widowmaker to death because we're playing Winston, and that's our job. This is very scary. I mean, if there was a way to surrender in this game as soon as you see the nano-boosted Zenyatta, that's pretty much the time you do it, because that pain train's got no brakes. So, half our team is dead. Again, we were tasing Widowmaker during this period, and the nano-boosted Zenyatta. And it's kind of hard for us to fight over in this area because there's Roadhog. Even though Roadhog is significantly less scary to us compared to how he used to be, we don't want to actually get into a fight with him because he still really wins that fight. I don't know why we come into this room exactly to begin with, because it doesn't look like it's really going to ever accomplish anything. And all that actually happens is they kind of collapse in on us. We think maybe we might be able to get the Ana for it, but we don't. Just don't go into that room. You could just, like, sit back and play it more calm and then jump in when you actually have an opportunity to, rather than just sort of, like, trying to slide around the side when you've not been given the chance. So we've almost got Primal Rage built up, which is cool. Not an ultimate you're actively thinking about using generally, but is just generally nice to have. Didn't need to put your bubble down there. I get, like, the safety and everything, but that's way too far away to actually kill anybody, so there's no need to really worry about it, and now the bubble's just on a 12-second cooldown. We do have Primal Rage, though, so we don't exactly care too much, because we have the giant 1000 HP barrier to work with. So we're on Widowmaker again right now, because we're playing Winston, and this is our job. And this is what you do when you're playing Winston. You're gonna kill someone, you fucking run that guy down. This is getting a little bit carried away with the chasing at this point, but at the same time we can see our team has been winning that fight over there handedly because Soldiers just killed their entire fucking team except Widowmaker. So we have more free reign to run the Widowmaker down that far, but once she kind of gets out of the mine, it's starting to get a little bit excessive in the chasing area, but we do still have Primal Rage, so that gives us a huge buffer for overextending, since, you know, it's a 1000 HP barrier. So, also not the end of the world, even if we weren't winning the fight. If we were losing the fight, then you don't want to be chasing after the one dude so much. So Lucio just got whipped to death, sucks for Lucio. Oh, just barely got him. It's the worst feeling in the world when you like that guy, you're that Zenyatta, and you're like, oh shit, Winston's right on my face, what am I gonna do? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna get slowly tased to death. Then Genji comes in and steals our kill, like the dirty hoodlum he is. So, this is where it's difficult, because it kind of looks like you might be able to get away with it, but at the same time it looks like you're kind of likely to die. I can see myself on some days of the week ulting right here, and some days of the week not ulting right here, because you're kind of likely to die, but you're also kind of in the range where you might be able to get away with it. I think the argument you should probably ult just because you know there's a Roadhog here, and his hook is pretty close to being off cooldown, because we saw him whip Lucio to death with it. So, probably just for the safety, you should ult, but at the end of the day, also, if you die over here, it's not the end of the world, because you've got time to get back. But two other people die at the same time. It's difficult. It's one of the difficult calls, because I can see myself on some days of the week ulting right there for the safety, and some days being like, nah, I can get away with it, and then also getting killed and punished for it. So, anyway, we haven't got to come that far back to get here anyway, and we're playing Winston. So we found Widowmaker again. Genji's also found Widowmaker, so we're gonna bully Widowmaker now. Things have gotten significantly easier, you'll notice, since we've gotten into this checkpoint, because Widowmaker and Pharah were making it very difficult for us to actually do anything, especially since we were also never managed to get our team to really fully regroup either. Widowmaker and Pharah are a lot less good on this checkpoint because the maps are a lot more, the map becomes a lot more confined at this location. We actually get like a formal choke point to work with, and Pharah can't take advantage of her vertical mobility as much because there's a fucking roof there now, and a lot of cover just generally to work with. We can just like we as Winston can stand somewhere and just tase the Pharah out of the air. Like, it's a lot easier for us to deal with the heroes that were giving us trouble now, especially since we're just like hard focusing on the Widowmaker, which is what you do when you're playing Winston. You do not want the Widowmaker or the Hanzo to have any fun at all. Or the Genji if they have a Genji. So, I don't think you ult here because it looks like you're gonna win the fight regardless. I think that's a death you just accept, because the fight looks like it's gonna be won regardless of you dying or not, so you can hold on to the ult, because it wasn't gonna do anything. If the fight looks like it's definitely lost or definitely won, you generally do not want to ult, so we save it, and now we've got it for this next fight, which is gonna be their last push as well, so that's good for us. D.Va has also just miraculously managed to kill their two supports right before their final push begins. So, they're pretty fucked. Genji gets hooked, we jump over here to try and help the Genji, and we're just gonna ult. Fair enough, we might as well, seeing as we just kinda wanna try and bully people away from the point. We're really fucking up Roadhog's day, but then he does kinda push us into the explosion, but we managed to survive because we've got the giant 1000 HP at that point. So, Zenyatta has managed to make it back just in time to use his ultimate, as has Ana. So this is obviously not very good. these people were not very good at fighting. We know there's an Ana behind us. Like, okay, so here's the thing. We're not good at fighting these people over here because it's 2 tanks. Zenyatta is also using Transcendence right now, so we're definitely not going to do anything over here except, like, build some ult charge off of hitting them. But we know there's an Ana behind us, and Ana's not in range of the Transcendence. So rather than fighting these people over here, which is effectively doing nothing, our time is better spent trying to bully their Ana, or at least stop her from, like, doing stuff. Because if we're heavily pressuring her, maybe she doesn't actually get this ultimate off because she can't get a line of sight in, or maybe she ults like Roadhog, which is significantly worse. It's a better use of our time to be bullying her than tasing into people we're not actually doing anything to. Now we're pretty fucked because we're purple and we're low HP. So, what can you do, you know? We've almost got Primal Rage built up again because it does build up quite quickly, seeing as you can usually tase a great many people. Genji's also got Dragon Blade, so it's not the end of the world, even because they've still got to push it pretty far through this checkpoint as well, and we get back out here in time. We just jump straight in on them. They don't have that much that can kill us very quickly, so not so bad. I wouldn't run away because it's the kind of situation where I would expect to get killed running away. I would just keep tasing into these people because, like, look how quickly you have built up your ult charge from landing in these people. Look how quickly this is charged. Just tase into those people for like another half second, maybe jump straight up into the air if you're kind of afraid you're gonna die, and you'll get your ultimate, and then you can just shoot at them. That's the kind of situation where I'd expect to get killed just jumping out. We don't get killed as we're jumping out, so I mean, shows me, right? Now we've got Primal Rage, we're coming back in. We don't feel like we have to use it yet, just use it there. I would have probably used it at 250 anyway, because dying right now would be really fucking sad, seeing as this is kind of the important moment. But the fight goes really well regardless, so even if we did end up dying, wouldn't have mattered in all likelihood. So they didn't get it all the way to the end of the checkpoint, which is not too surprising. It's kind of hard to get it all the way to the end on Route 66, because the 3rd checkpoint is so terrible to push into. Not a lot of options for that checkpoint, really. You kind of just have to sort of run straight at them. You've got some options, but not a great many. I find it kind of a pain. And some heroes are just, like, a lot worse on it. Like, all the flankers get a lot worse on the 3rd checkpoint. Pharah gets a lot worse. Widowmaker gets a lot worse, which was very helpful for us. But, you know, it kind of goes both ways at the same time. So, we put our bubble down right here. Not a very good use of company resources because it's not really blocking anything. We leave it behind, and now we just sort of have to wait for it to be off cooldown again before we can actually go in and really do anything. Good patience, though, to wait until your bubble is off of cooldown, because a lot of Winston players would have just jumped in and gotten fucked immediately upon landing. So, we got up there, we knocked some people off, we distracted them, jumped down here. Oh, she's really low HP, but she dies before we have to actually jump after her. But we would have been able to kill that Pharah even if Diva didn't get her, because she was actually really low. We could have killed her out of the air. Winston and Diva, a combo that's surprisingly good at killing a Pharah, because both of them do basically guaranteed damage. And that if you do like half of the Pharah's HP or more with like basically guaranteed damage, suddenly gets a lot easier for your DPS to kill her because they only have to hit her once or twice. So, as well as Diva having other side benefits against Pharah. So we found their Mercy, and we're in the perfect opportunity to really bully this Mercy around. Great, awesome. Now we're in the perfect opportunity to bully around this Ana. And this is as textbook as it comes. We've found 2 supports, the 2 supports were all by their lonesome, and nobody came to help them. So we just got to tase them to death. It's as textbook as they come. Easiest money in the world. So, this guy, not our area, I would jump past him. I wouldn't have put the bubble down there, really, either, because this is, like, kind of whatever. Either, you can try and get her, but she looks like she's pretty fucked regardless. So I look over here, I just ignore this guy. This guy, meaningless to me, because I'm playing Winston, I don't care about him. I see this dude over here, I'm like, that's my area. I jump on him, put the bubble on top of us, and now Roadhog can't hit us. He probably tries to hook us out of the air, because that's what they tend to do, bounces off the bubble, then we bully that dude to death. And what's he gonna do about it? He doesn't like people jumping on him. He's probably used his biotic field by this point as well. This guy, not our thing. And we'd be much more productive bullying around the, soldier. At the very least, if we didn't kill him, we'd make sure he didn't do any damage. So he's up here now. And he's all by his lonesome, so he's just sort of getting fucked right now, and he's now dead. We've now got Primal Rage built up. Great, this first push, really easy, really textbook. We found the two supports by themselves, we killed them, and then the fight was basically as one as it can possibly be, really. And now these two people have put themselves in a really unfortunate location, and they're both fucked. And they have been very punished for it. This is how you climb an SR. You find these mistakes. You find the mistakes that, like, the supports are by themselves and nobody's helping them, which is very common in this kind of SR range. And then you punish them for that by killing both of their supports. You see the Mercy and the Pharah put themselves out of position. You kill them both, and now they're punished. And now we're gonna get this really far through the checkpoint, basically uncontested, because they're down two people now, which is really hard for them to fight. So we're gonna get it up to, like, there before they're even back and are able to contest it, which is just free money. So, this dude just got hooked over here. He's fucking dead now. We would have liked to try and get in and help him, but we were kind of in a position where it wasn't really possible. Little bit greedy, but we get away with it. Very greedy, we don't get away with it. Like, it's already kinda iffy to hope for this one, because there's the possibility he just kills you before you're unpurple. At this point, just do it, dog. Just do it. Probably tried to do it slightly too late. That's a really greedy maneuver. Probably really feeling it after the easy money we had on the last checkpoint. Solder that's not okay for him to do that, and he got very punished for that one. He dropped that ult on the floor. You have to be careful not to be too greedy, because greed gets punished quite severely. So, we're jumping in right now, we put the bubble down on it. We end up getting killed. Like, you know... we could have, like, done this quicker. Like, it takes us a little while to actually do this. Like, you could have just put the bubble down right as you landed, and then walked around the other side of the payload, and you would have been perfectly fine. Or, you could just assume everybody's gotten out of the way, and get out of the way yourself. Ugh. But it is the excuse me, Jesus, I'm a disgusting creature. But it is the safer play to put the bubble on it, but we could have done it better. At the same time, though, 3 people were fucking dead anyway. So probably wouldn't have done too much regardless. So, Solder is using his ultimate right now, while half the team was not there, and he was not in an okay position, it looks like, and he's now fucking dead. So that's both soldiers just accomplishing basically nothing. We have now found their Ana. We are trying to bully their Ana. Mercy starts healing her. We are no longer able to kill the Ana. We are now feeling very bad about this situation. Roadhog's probably pretty upset about this one also. So, it's not really okay to just do this jump, because all you've really seen at this point over here was the 2 tanks, and then we just jump right into the middle of their entire team. Yeah, we find the Ana, but Mercy is up on the high ground uncontested right now. So she gets to just heal the Ana, and we have to ult because we're not in a good position. But since we're not in a good position, the ult doesn't exactly save us, and we just start bullying around the Roadhog. The Roadhog is not the dude we want to bully around. At this point, like, Primal Rage is... I find it very difficult to keep track of what's happening in Primal Rage. I wish it turned to a third-person perspective when you're using Primal Rage, because I find it just really hard to keep track of what's going on. At the same time, though, I guess that would probably make it too easy, seeing as Winston is already a really easy hero. So, we don't want to bully this dude. We want to bully these dudes. These dudes are much more our thing, or their soldier who is over there, as we learn. Roadhog is the worst person we can be trying to bully. And he's the one that we have chosen to bully. He's being healed by Mercy and Ana on top of us just probably not killing him anyway. So, bad target prioritization as Winston. Also a bad time to jump in. And then we doubled down on it with our ultimate, and it just sort of didn't get any better at any point, really. So, as you can see, we're almost out of time. So, as you can tell, we either win really decisively or we do not get it very far. So, Lucio's using his ultimate right now. Half our team is currently dead, so it's not exactly a great use of company resources. D.Va's doing that. Oh, that's scary. Just got out of the way. Mercy's only rezzed Roadhog, which I do not feel was necessary, especially since they're already winning this fight. Managed to pick off the Ana. Ana didn't get to ult, so that's great. And now we can bully around the Mercy. Oh god, Roadhog used his ultimate, and that stopped us from killing the Mercy. Happens. Not much you can do about that one, except tell Roadhog politely that you'd rather he didn't ult. And, you know, he'd take that under advisement, and we'd see what happened. You know, maybe we could reach some kind of understanding. So the fight's still going okay, though. We'd already killed Anna, and she didn't get to use her ultimate, so that's good for our team. Obviously, it's always better when the enemy supports don't get to use their ultimate. This is not alright for him to do, and he's done it, and now Mercy's like, ah, shit. We've all been that Mercy at some point in time. So now, we're in the last checkpoint. We just heard somebody get hooked, but we never actually found where they got hooked from. They got hooked, like, over there, but they didn't actually die, so... Because Roadhog is not very threatening hero right now. I seen someone on the subreddit, one of the subreddits, I don't remember which one, making the argument that Roadhog's about to become overpowered because he can block, like, 1,000 damage net or something like that if he's getting shot at while he's using his E. And I'm like, yeah, but... what's he gonna do? Like, what does it matter if he's reduced 1,000 damage? If they sat there shooting at the Roadhog while he's using his E, they're just kinda dumb. And what's the Roadhog gonna do then? He's gonna shoot at someone and do like 20 damage to them still, and he's gonna continue to be unthreatening. So I was like, I don't really see how this is gonna make him that much stronger, seeing as he's still like the least threatening hero in the game. But, That's not entirely fair, but he's one of the least threatening heroes in the game. So it's like, is the damage reduction on the E really gonna help? The ability to use it while moving is quite strong. I'll give you that one. But, if the hero isn't threatening, the hero isn't threatening. And that's kinda... all Roadhog has ever had is he's scary, right? He's a scary hero to fight. He's an aggressive tank, but now he just doesn't really do anything. It's really sad, actually. I've heard people put forward that he's good against Doomfist because he has CC, and Doomfist is a big guy, so he's easy to hit. Here's the thing. If that's the case, why don't you just pick McCree? Because McCree also has CC. And he also likes people that are easy to hit. It's just, you know... I don't get, whatever. So we've learned they have a Reaper, and that's really fucking scary. We almost have our ultimate, so the Reaper isn't actually gonna kill us, and then he just kind of gives up anyway. So, cool. You know, we get to just sort of walk away. He does, however, then kill Lucio, but now we're bullying around their, Pharah. Because we're just sort of allowed to do that on this map. And our whole team has just kind of killed them without much input from us, and now we're gonna bully Mercy. Now Pharah's all by our lonesome. Oh no. Just like a small thing, if you're gonna kill, when they get down to the 30 HP, just punch them, because then you kill them, and it's slightly faster than tasing them to death by like 0.5 seconds. But you know, it is a slight increase in efficiency. So you do want to do that if at all possible. But, you know, it's kind of nitpicky in the grand scheme of things. So we got out to the end. It was scary at first, and someone on our team was like, GG, before the first round was over. But then we learned it wasn't actually that hard, because then we got to play on attack. And I find that's the case. I find that the team that defends first is the team more likely to tilt, because it feels bad as you get pushed along the track. But that just kinda happens in this game. Like, 4 minutes is a long time, right? And people can, like, people get tilted, like, losing the first checkpoint on Hollywood, or, like, Route 6, or, not Route 66, well, Route 66, but, like, Kings Row and stuff like that. You should expect it to happen. Like, 4 minutes is a fucking long time. The enemy team is probably at some point gonna use enough ultimates to get it through there at some point. But it feels bad getting pushed along the track, even if you should expect it to happen. So then you're like, oh fuck, well, they got it this far, we're gonna lose. And then you switch to the attacking team, and you do everything they did in like half the time, and you're like, well, I guess it wasn't actually that close at all. But the team that tilts first is the team that loses, as we always know. So, that's actually a pretty good medal. Cause, I mean, it's kinda hard to parse, but that's like, she lost her mech, 14 times by the enemy team killing it, and she, like, replaced it every time. So, That's pretty sick. So that's just like, basically, that's deaths avoided by D.Va. 15 deaths avoided. That's actually a good medal. It's very rare to see, because a lot of D.Va players tend to die right after they lose their mech, because they don't play careful enough when they are Zero Suit Samus. So that was like a lot of tangents right back to back right there. Oh, good heavens. So, not too much really stood out in this game. When you are playing Soldier, you're very weak when your team isn't around you, and we do spend time advancing in while the rest of our team isn't there. And I mean, like, most of the team is there, so you feel like you can go forward. But we're already losing they have such a tempo advantage during the majority of this game. So you're better off just waiting extra long, like, just for the team to actually regroup. And sometimes that never happens, but that's gonna happen, like, regardless of you waiting or not, cause if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And if you're one of the people that's going forward without a full team getting killed, you're just making the issue worse. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So just, like, wait and play it cool, basically. Well, cooler, you know. Not too much stands out on Winston. Don't be too greedy with your ultimate. Because here's the thing. With Primal Rage, charges really fast, because you get to tase a great many people, usually, so you're just like, you saw how fast it was charging when we were tasing like 3 people, that thing charges fast. So, and it's not a game-changing ultimate, right? It's not like Attack Visor where you're gonna use it and you're gonna kill 5 people and then you're gonna win the game. That can happen if the 5 people are right next to an edge, but that's exceedingly rare. So, it's an ult that is generally just used for survival, really. So don't be too greedy with it, because it's kind of disposable. It's not as disposable as, like, D.Va's self-destruct, but survival is more important. Try not to be too greedy with the ultimate. Those are the major things that stood out in this game. So, there wasn't a question in the email, right? I'm not totally just forgetting something. Let me check real quick. No, there was no questions in the email. Okay. So, thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.